Welcome back, students. This is the chapter Nelson Mandela, and I have completed up to this page in the first part. And now, today, I am going to start for the second part, and after that portion, I will continue and cover the total portion of this chapter. Let's start. In this picture, you can see the many great eminent personalities are there. Who these personalities were? These personalities were such a great height of characters that they fought against the apartheid system. It was a very bad racial discrimination that was going on in South Africa, and people like that fought against this apartheid system, and so they were called extraordinary. They are called with the extraordinary courage, wisdom, and generosity that their like may never be known again. Perhaps it required such depth of operation to create such heights of character. Means they have tolerated too much extortion and tortures by the British people, and after that they become the character of such a height. And here, after that, you can see the country is rich in the mineral. My country is rich in the minerals and gems. It was a great expectation by the new upcoming president, that was Nelson Mandela. He was telling that it was obvious that his country was full of gems and minerals, but the real gems and minerals were those personality who brought the cherished freedom which they had desired for a long time. I have always known that its greatest wealth is its people, finer and truer than the purest diamonds. And the people of South Africa who fought against the apartheid system and brought the freedom also and sacrificed their life and shed their blood, these are the people of the purest diamonds. It is from these comrades in the struggle that I learned the meaning of courage. He was telling that definition of courage he came to know from these persons. Comrades means friends. Time and again means repeatedly. I have seen men and women risk and give their lives for an idea. It was their life, valuable life. Their life was in risk. They sacrificed their lives for the idea. I have seen men stand up to the attacks and torture without breaking. These were the men of extreme tolerance. They have the extreme tolerance power. They have tolerated attacks and torture, but they never broke down, and showing strength and resilience that defies the imagination. Here, resilience means the ability to deal with any kind of hardship and recover from its effect. Here he wanted to say that the great personalities who sacrificed their life were men of extraordinary characters. They had tolerance power, they had resilience power, and the brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers the fear. He was telling that I learned the courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. So, what is the real definition of courage? Is courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph or victory over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers the fear. Fear is there in every step of your life, but if you conquer or if you get victory over the fear, that is your real courage. And that thing the men had at the time, so they could able to sacrifice their life. In the next paragraph, you can see no one is born hating another person because of the color of the skin or his background or his religion. People must learn to hate. If they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. For love comes from more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. Nelson Mandela was giving focus on the thing that some things are natural, some things are natural, just like our love and hate. Love is a natural thing. After our birth or during the time of our birth, that tendency or the tradition of the love we are carrying, but hate we just learn from other people. People must learn to hate. If they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love also, for love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. Even in the grimmest times in the prison, means grimace means very bad times here he was depicting. In the prison means jail. He was telling that men should be taught with love and hate. If men could be taught hate, then why not people should learn about the message of love, because love is coming more naturally. He was telling the experience, how his experience was when he was in the jail for 30 years. When my comrades and I were pushed to our limits, they could not do what they had desired because they were in the jail. I would see a glimmer of humanity in one of the guards. Many guards were there, keeping watch over him all the time, but he observed a little bit humanity in one of the guards, perhaps for just a second, but humanity was visible for just a second. It was non-permanent, but it was enough to reassure me and keep me going. Man's goodness is a flame that can be hidden but never extinguished. It is the good deeds, and it is the goodness, it is the good qualities that are just like the flame, sometimes flickers, sometimes it might be hidden, but your real goodness cannot be hidden forever, or cannot be extinguished or put off forever. In life, every man has twin obligations. Twin obligations mean two duties. Which are the two duties? Obligations to his family and to his parents, to his wife and children. This is the first obligation or duty. And what is more, the second duty, he has an obligation to his people also, to his community, to his country. That is the second duty. Second duty is for the people, for the community, and for the country. You can see the obligation means, as a human being, all of us have to do two types of duty. First of all, we have to look after our family members, and all the members we have to look after. And second duty is to look after the country also. In a civil and human society, each man is able to fulfill those obligations according to his own inclinations and abilities. In each society, each man is able to fulfill those obligations. Man is trying to fulfill those duties, trying to do their duties according to his own inclinations or abilities. Inclination means natural tendencies of behavior. Man is always trying to fulfill their duties and abilities, but according to their abilities. But in a country like South Africa, it was almost impossible for a man of my birth and color to fulfill both of those obligations. But here he was telling twine obligation or two duties, but it was very difficult task for the people of South Africa, because they were captivated, they were snatched of their freedom. So how do they fulfill their dream of doing the second duty? Nelson Mandela, in his initial life, he was settled with his life and family life. He was looking after all these things. In his childhood days, there were a lot of freedom. But when he was thinking about the second obligation, there was too much burden was there. It was almost impossible for a man of my birth and color. And all this happened because of the birth and color of the skin. For this reason, people of South Africa were segregated. In South Africa, a man of color who attempted to live as a human being was punished and isolated. What was told? A man of color who means here Boer, the African native people, who tried to live as a human being, means as a normal human being. If he wanted to live, then he was punished and isolated, means kept separated from the family. What is more, in South Africa, a man who tried to fulfill his duty to his people was inevitably ripped from his family or snatched from his family. If someone is wanting to do the second duty or duty towards the country, then obviously his freedom was curtailed and he was separated from his family, his home, and forced to live a life apart. Apart means separate. A twilight existence of the secrecy and rebellion. A twilight existence of the secrecy and rebellion. So rebellion means one type of wish was there in the heart to become free one day from the clutches of the British, and they were all doing all these things in the secrecy. I did not in the beginning choose to place my people above my family. First of all, that line means that he was giving importance on his family in his early age. But in attempting to serve my people, when he desired to serve his people, do something for the people, he found that he was prevented from fulfilling his obligations as a son, a brother, a father, and a husband. But when he was going for the second duty, that time first duty was obstructed or taken away from him, because he was taken to the prison or jail for 30 years. That time he was totally separated, isolated from his family. I was not born with hunger to be free. I was born free. He was coming from the convenient family. He was not belonging to such a family where hunger was there, lack of food was there. There was enough food in his family. That matter he did not think about. I was born free. He was telling that there was a lot of freedom in his life after his birth. He spent his boyhood life, younger age, with lot of freedom. Free in every way that I could know. Free to run in the fields near my mother's hut, free to swim in a clear stream that ran through my village. So he was explaining one by one how his freedom was. He was free to run in the fields near the mother's hut. He was free to swim in the clear stream or river that ran through his village. He was also free to roast maize under the stars. He was looking at the stars and enjoy the sceneries and ride the broad backs of the slow-moving bulls. Sometimes he was riding the back of the bulls. As long as I obeyed my father and abided by the customs of my tribe, I was not troubled by the laws of man or God. What did he say? As long as I obeyed my father and abided by the customs of my tribe, I was not troubled by the laws of the man or God. It was only when I began to learn that my boyhood freedom was an illusion, when I discovered as a young man. It was only when I began to learn that my boyhood freedom was illusion. Illusion means here short-lived, or it was stayed for a little time. It was only illusion only. Illusion means something that appears to be real, but it is not real. His boyhood freedom was like that. It was not real. When I discovered as a young man that my freedom had already been taken from me. When he became a young man, that time he realized that his freedom was taken away, that I began to hunger for it. He was hungry for the freedom. That freedom was slowly taken away from him. At first, as a student, I wanted freedom only for myself. He was looking for himself only as a student. The transitory freedoms of being able to stay out at night. His freedom was transitory, means short-lived. He was wanting to stay out at night, and he wanted to read whatever he wished. And later, as a young man in Johannesburg, I yearned for the basic and honorable freedoms of achieving my potential. He was trying to achieve his luck in Johannesburg. He tried to be settled in Johannesburg, um, uh, and by making a job also, of marrying and having a family. He wanted to do a job, he wanted to marry and have a satisfied family. The freedom not to be obstructed in a lawful life. The freedom not to be obstructed in a lawful life. First of all, he wanted to tell that his life was very much lawful in the previous way, but later, when he joined the African National Congress and he became the freedom fighter, that all his activities become unlawful. When But then I slowly saw that not only was I not free, but my brothers and sisters were not free. Here, brothers and sisters means countrymen. Countrymen was also not free. I saw that it was not just my freedom that was curtailed, but the freedom of everyone who looked like I did. That is when I joined the African National Congress, and that is when the hunger for my own freedom became the greater hunger for the freedom. First of all, he realized that his countrymen did not have any freedom, and his freedom is also curtailed or making short. That is when I joined the African National Congress. It was his very moment when he joined the African National Congress. That is when hunger for his freedom became more stronger. It was this desire for the freedom of my people to live their lives with the dignity and self respect that animated my life. It was the desire of the freedom of my people. He was wanting the freedom for his country, for his people to live their lives. Actually, people wanted to live their lives sociably, with lot of freedom and dignity and self-respect that the people of Africa was needed at the time. That transformed a frightened young man into a bold one. When his back was touched on the wall, that time he became ferocious, and he was not thinking backward, he was thinking forward how to get freedom anyhow, because people need all these things. That drove a law abiding attorney to become a criminal. First of all, he was maintaining the law, he was an attorney, but later he became a criminal in the eyes of the British. That turned a family loving husband into a man without a home. That forced a life loving man to live like a monk. In this way, his life became totally separated. There was no relation with his family. He was totally living in a secluded life. I'm no more virtuous or self sacrificing than the next man. But I found that I could not even enjoy the poor and limited freedoms that I was allowed when I knew my people were not free. Actually, he did not like to enjoy his own or personal freedom because he wanted the country's freedom most. He was observing that it was his countrymen who are suffering a lot. Then it is very odd that I should enjoy the freedom, because people of South Africa were in chains, and the chains of every one of my people were the chains on all of them, and the chains on all of my people were the chains on me. He was thinking that if everybody's freedom was taken away, that means my freedom was also taken away. Last paragraph of this chapter, you can see, I knew that the oppressor must be liberated just as surely as the oppressed. Here two terms are there. One is oppressor, other is oppressed. Means one people is giving torture and other people is just taking the torture. A man who takes away another man's freedom is a prisoner of hatred. A man who takes away another man's freedom is a prisoner of hatred. He is locked behind the bars of the prejudice and narrow mindedness. I am not truly free if I am taking away someone else's freedom, just as surely as I am not free when my freedom is taken from me. The oppressor and oppressed are robbed of their humanity. Here, Nelson Mandela is wanting to tell that both the oppressor, one man is getting torture, and one man is making torture. Those who are getting and those who are means tolerating, both of them lacking their humanity, because the person who put the criminals in the jail, they have hatred of mind, prejudice of mind, so their mind is also polluted. On the other hand, the mind of the oppressed people, those who are in the jail, their mind was also oppressed, and there is lacking of humanity. In this way, the different questions have been given. You can see the picture, the man of peace that transformed a frightened young man into a bold one. First of all, he wanted to look for himself, but after that, he wanted to serve for his country. That time, he became bold, he became fearless, he wanted to do anything for the getting freedom of the country. He was called a criminal and put behind the bars for 30 years. It was this desire for the freedom of my people to live their lives with dignity and self respect that animated my life. What did the people of South Africa want? Dignity and self respect. And it was the very thing that also included in the life of Nelson Mandela. He was also wanting this. That is when I joined the African National Congress, and that is when the hunger for my own freedom became the greater hunger for the freedom of my people. First of all, he was not included in any institution to work for, but later when he joined the African National Congress, he realized he had a lot of tasks to be done. Then his energy and gusto become energized to do something more for the country anyhow. I saw that it was not just my freedom that was curtailed, but the freedom of everyone who looked like I did. In the previous way, the people did not enjoy the freedom, but right now we can see the picture. The people are enjoying their freedom and their dignity and self respect. They are just in the aesthetic movement. But then I slowly saw that not only was I not free, but my brothers and sisters were not free. When he was maintaining his family before the joining of the African National Congress, he realized that he was not only segregated from the freedom, but his countrymen also segregated from the freedom. For his lifelong contribution also, Nelson Mandela got Nobel Peace Prize. Later, as a young man in Johannesburg was a place he wanted to make his dream come true, like settle his career, making a job, making family, maintaining all this. But all his dream frustrated. When he joined the African National Congress, he wanted to do something, means second obligation, second duty, that is the duty towards the country. Here he told that it always seems impossible until it is done. When you come to the work, that time you know better than how it is done. At first, as a student, I wanted freedom only for myself. The transitory freedoms of being able to stay out at night, read what I pleased, and go where I chose. This was his freedom. He was expressing his freedom in the various ways, from the childhood, going here and there, swimming, and just riding the back of the bulls. In this way, his freedom was more cherished. Later, he realized that the freedom was only an illusion, means short lived. It was cheating with him. And he discovered that as a young man, my freedom had already been taken from me, that I began to hunger for it. And he was feeling little bit appetite for the freedom because he was hungry. As long as I obeyed my father and abided by the customs of my tribe, I was not troubled by the laws of man or God. First of all, he was paying respect to his father. He was paying respect to the customs of his community. After that, he was feeling that he was not troubled by the laws of man or God. He was going by his own will or God, own will and law. To deny people their human rights is the challenge, their very humanity. I was not born with hunger to be free. I was born free, free in every way that I could know. It was a very fantastic, important line. You can note it down. Because here he was telling that he was coming from a sophisticated family and there was no such a hunger in his family, no food shortage was there. He was totally free and he did not have to manage his food for running here and there, free in every way that I could know. He was totally free. Now, dear students, this chapter has been completed, the part 2, and in my next video, I will come with another topic, another chapter. Till then, goodbye to all of you.